Our first step is to take one of our greens, mine is the lime green, fold it in half lengthwise and cut it right on the fold. Now we're ready to create our snake. Using 1/2 of the green paper we just cut, Karen has added a dot at one corner, and then in the opposite corner she's going to draw almost a heart shape for the head of the snake. We want our snake to be plump. Bigger is better because this is going to be cut out and glued to the landscape, and it will be much easier if the snake is a very well-fed snake. Now let's add some of the details. Remember, we're using our regular classroom crayon, not the watercolor crayon. She's adding a happy face, and then we can create some lines for the sections and add some very simple patterns using the crayon. Now Karen will be coloring her snake using the watercolor crayons. You don't have to completely fill in because when you add water with your brush, the color will travel to the edge of the regular classroom crayon. The classroom crayon acts as a barrier to stop the colors from spreading. With our finished sample down below, that was colored in warm colors of red and orange. Now she deliberately chose cool colors of blue and purple to color her snake. You can choose your own colors.
Say that again, Pat. You can choose your own colors.
Okay. The student can choose their own colors. I have something else I could add to that. While you're coloring, if you accidentally color outside of the outline, it doesn't matter. Remember, the snake will be cut out. Karen has filled her water cup with just a small amount of water. She dips her paintbrush in the water and uses just the tip to paint, almost like tickling the paint color on the paper. Notice how she's holding the brush far back at the end of the handle. Because we're cutting out the snake, if she accidentally goes over the outline, it doesn't matter. That part will be cut out. She's going to completely wet the paper, the color that she's added with her watercolor crayons, to melt the color and give us that beautiful watercolor effect. We do the snake first to allow time for the paper to dry before it's cut out and glued to the landscape. We have set our snake aside to dry. Now it's time to create our tall grass. Because we did our snake on the lime green paper, we're using the Kelly green for the tall grass. You might have chosen the Kelly green for the snake, in which case you'll be using the lime green for your tall grass. By the way, the other half of the snake paper will be used to make short grass. Karen will start drawing with a blue regular classroom crayon. Karen will start by coming down a finger's width and making a dot, and coming up a finger's width and making a dot for drawing her grass. Starting in the corner, she's going to come up no farther than the top dot and come down again no farther than the bottom dot. They don't all have to be the same size. In a tropical jungle, of course, grass is not all uniform and symmetrical. She's going to go across her paper, making these blades of grass. Some of your grass may be a little bit fatter or skinnier. Now that Karen has drawn the outline of her blades of grass, she's adding some botanical details with that same blue crayon. But then she wants to add some color. The color palette is your choice. She's using yellow and orange. Now notice she's not completely filling in with color. It's not necessary. By the way, Karen will not be adding water to melt the colors of the watercolor crayons. We want to finish our project in a timely manner, and it would take too long for the paper to dry so that it could be cut out and glued. Now that our first row of grass has been colored, it's time to turn the paper upside down and do the second row. This is how we get 2 sets of tall grass. You can use the same colors, or if you want to come up with a different color scheme, you're welcome to do that. Remember, you don't have to fill in completely. It's just a highlight of color. We want to get this project done on a timely basis. With the other half of the paper that we use for creating our snake, in our case it happens to be the lime green, we're going to make the same blades of grass, color it the same exact way as we did the bigger sheet, and turning the paper over and coloring it just like the way we did the larger sheet. Now she's going to carefully cut only on the blue crayon line. That way we will end up with 2 continuous, complete lengths of grass, just like this. We cut the smaller set of grass the exact same way, so we end up with 2 continuous lengths, and then we cut out our snake now that it's had time to dry. We're in the home stretch of our beginning level Henri Rousseau project. We're adding a line of glue directly on the brown paper at the bottom and taking one of our larger sets of grass and sticking it to the bottom edge. Then we're going to do the same up at the top, putting the glue on the brown paper instead of on the green paper. It sticks better that way. Now we're going to add the second set of grass. Do you want to use both? Or you can use just one piece. It's your choice. Go ahead and add the glue directly to the green paper that has already been glued down, and then attach the smaller piece. And if you chose to do the second piece, you can glue it the same way on the opposite side. Now we're going to attach our snake by adding glue just to the tail and the head. She is going to carefully weave it in and out of our tall blades of grass and kind of scrunch it together and hold the glue spots for a count of at least 20 seconds so it will stay in place. She's using her middle finger as well to give it an extra little bump. We definitely want our snake to look 3-dimensional. If you need to, you can add a little bit more glue to make sure that our snake will stay in place. We can arrange our blades of grass over the snake if we'd like to. And then we can take some of the grass and scrunch them up a little bit and glue them into position so that they too will also have a 3-dimensional effect. Remember to hold it for a few seconds at least so the glue will stick. Now our beginning level Henri Rousseau project is complete.